Pay attention to this footage. December 6th, 2023, Broomfield, Colorado. A man is installing security cameras on his home. His wife watches from the doorway. She's been terrified for months. Someone has been stalking her, sending her threatening messages, crude photos, watching her every move. Her husband told her these cameras would keep her safe. He promised to protect her. 8 days later, she was dead in their garage, struck in the head, stabbed in the heart. And the man who killed her? He was the same man who installed those cameras, the same man who held her while she cried, the same man who sent every single one of those threatening messages. For months, Kristil Krug believed she was being hunted by a ghost from her past. She did everything right. She documented everything. She went to the police. She armed herself. She trusted her husband to protect her. But you can't protect yourself from someone who sleeps in your bed. October 2023. Kristil Krug is a 44-year-old chemical engineer living in Broomfield, Colorado. Mother of 3, analytical mind, the kind of person who solves problems for a living. One afternoon, a text arrives on her phone. It's from a number she doesn't recognize. The sender identifies himself as Anthony, a reference to Jack Anthony Holland, a man she dated for 1 year, in college, over 20 years ago. She ignores it. But the messages keep coming, and they escalate. Crude sexual content, photos she never asked for, references to her current life, her car, her workplace, her routine, things a stranger shouldn't know. Then an email arrives with a photo of her husband walking into his office. The message reads, "This your husband? I'll get rid of him, and then we can be together." Kristil Krug realizes she's not dealing with an awkward ex trying to reconnect. She's being stalked. And whoever this is, they're watching her family. To understand what happened to Kristil Krug, you need to understand who she was. Kristil had what I'd call a super analytical mind. She was an engineer. When she faced a problem, she didn't panic. She organized. She documented. She found solutions. Kristil was married to Daniel Krug for 16 years, 3 children, a home in the suburbs, a career she loved. From the outside, everything looked perfect. She was just in tears. She kept saying, "What am I going to do? How am I going to live?" She felt like she was being hunted. But Kristil didn't freeze. She fought back the only way she knew how. She created what she called a stalker log, a detailed spreadsheet documenting every single interaction. Dates, times, screenshots, IP addresses when she could find them, follow-up points for police. She went to Broomfield Police multiple times. She told Detective Andrew Martinez everything. The stalker log included everything from dates, times, locations, follow-up points that we could do. She was incredibly thorough. Most victims don't document like that. Kristil hired a private investigator to track down Jack Holland's last known address. She armed herself. She was doing everything right. But there was one thing she couldn't protect herself from. The threat wasn't coming from her past. It was sitting across from her at the dinner table every night. The stalking investigation focused on 4 possible suspects. 4 people who might want to terrorize Kristil Krug. Police would eliminate them one by one. Suspect number 1, the ex-boyfriend, Jack Anthony Holland. The name on every threatening message. The ex-boyfriend from over 2 decades ago. Kristil told police they dated in college, summer before freshman year, about a year total. She said he'd reached out periodically over the years, and she always felt he never quite got over the breakup. The messages were signed Anthony. The email came from a.holland@gmail.com. Everything pointed to him. But there was a problem. Jack Holland lived in Utah, over 500 miles away. Police in Musson, Eagle Mountain, Utah, knocked on his door the same day Kristil was killed. I asked him point blank, "Have you been contacting Kristil Krug?" He looked completely confused. He hadn't spoken to her in over 20 years. Holland had an airtight alibi. At 12:16 p.m. on the day of the murder, he was buying a sweatshirt at a Kohl's department store near Salt Lake City. Time-stamped receipt. Store security footage confirmed it. There was no way he drove 8 hours to Colorado, committed a murder, and drove 8 hours back, all before lunch. Jack Holland was innocent. He'd been framed. 3 suspects remain. Suspect number 2, the anonymous stalker. If it wasn't Holland, who was sending the messages? Police subpoenaed records from Google, Verizon, and TextNow. They traced IP addresses, they tracked burner phones, and that's when the investigation took a turn no one expected. The entire air was just kind of evacuated out of our investigations room. Some of the threatening messages, the ones sent from fake email accounts, were created on a password-protected network. A network that required employee credentials to access. The network at the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. Daniel Krug's workplace. Suspect number 3. Daniel Krug. Daniel Krug, 44 years old. Financial analyst. Kristil's husband of 16 years. Father of her 3 children. When the stalking began, Daniel appeared to be just as terrified as Kristil. He received threatening messages too. Photos of himself walking into work, captioned, "This your husband?" He installed security cameras on the house. He comforted Kristil when she was scared. He went to the police station with her. He played the concerned husband perfectly. He even gave us a nickname for the stalker, Kickman, because one of the email addresses was hollandkicks@gmail.com. But the digital forensics told a different story. Those burner phones used to send threatening texts, purchased with a Visa gift card registered to Daniel Krug. Cell tower data showed those burner phones were often in the exact same location as Daniel's personal phone. And that photo of Daniel walking into work? The one supposedly taken by the stalker watching him? Investigators realized something disturbing. The photo was taken from Daniel's own phone. He photographed himself, then sent it from a burner to make it look like he was being watched too. He wasn't a victim. He was the puppet master. 2 suspects remain. But there was still one question. Was Daniel the stalker or the killer? Suspect number 4. The unknown police couldn't rule out the possibility that someone else killed Kristil, even if Daniel was the stalker. What if there was an accomplice? What if someone else wanted her dead? Detectives brought Daniel back in for questioning. They confronted him with the IP address evidence. His body language changed immediately. Detective Jennifer King Sullivan asked him directly, "Who do you think killed her?" Daniel answered, "I think it's Kickman. I think it's Anthony." The detective responded, "What if I told you that we had already spoken with Anthony and there's no way that he was in town today?" Daniel's response, "Then I have nothing. And then I'm fucking terrified to bring my children home." His body language completely changed after we told him Holland was eliminated. He knew at that moment, we knew. There was no unknown killer. There was only Daniel. 1 suspect remains. Remember those security cameras Daniel installed? The ones meant to protect his family? On the morning of December 14th, 2023, something happened to them. The garage camera, the one that would have recorded exactly what happened to Kristil, was covered with blue masking tape. 3 other cameras in the home stopped recording entirely. The security system had been disabled from the inside. Security footage from a neighbor showed Daniel leaving the house that morning. But something was different. He left 30 minutes later than usual. And where did he go first? His usual coffee shop, where he complained that they gave him an iced coffee instead of a hot one. He waited for them to remake it, cool as a cucumber. He wanted to be seen as completely normal. Just another morning, just another coffee run, before heading to work like nothing happened. But here's where Daniel made his biggest mistake. He used Kristil's phone to send delayed text messages, scheduled to go out after he left the house. One to her brother, one to a detective. The messages implied she was still alive when Daniel left. But digital forensics showed Kristil's phone had no activity after 8:22 a.m. Those scheduled messages were meant to create an alibi. They proved the opposite. Kristil was already dead before Daniel walked out the door. December 14th, 2023. 7:52 a.m. Kristil Krug has just returned home after dropping 2 of their children at school. She pulls into the garage, gets out of the car. She has no idea what's waiting for her. Daniel is inside. He didn't go to work yet. He was waiting. The night before, Daniel searched on his computer. How much head trauma do you need to cause to knock someone unconscious? As Kristil enters the garage from inside the house, Daniel attacks from behind. He strikes her in the head multiple times with a blunt object. Then he stabs her in the heart. At 8:22 a.m., Kristil Krug is dead. Daniel disables the cameras, covers the Ring doorbell with blue tape, schedules texts from her phone, and leaves for work. 8:56 a.m., Daniel receives the text messages he scheduled earlier, the ones from Kristil's phone, his alibi. 9:27 a.m., Daniel arrives at work. Just another day. Around noon, Daniel sends Kristil a few texts, calls her phone, no answer. He waits a reasonable amount of time, not too long, not too short, then calls Broomfield police for a welfare check. Shiur Diener Shabafen Shawu. Officers arrive at the Krug residence. They find Kristil in the garage, unconscious. Clear signs of head trauma, a stab wound to the chest. 12:43 p.m. Kristil Krug is pronounced dead. When they told Daniel, he collapsed. He cried. Victim advocate Heather Aites held him as he processed the news that his wife, the woman he'd been terrorizing for months, was gone. It's a weird feeling standing there when somebody is being told their loved one has died. This man had been going through a stalking case with his wife. He was being stalked as well. And now she is gone. At least, that's what I believed at the time. But detectives weren't comforting Daniel for long. Within hours, they had the IP address evidence. Within days, they had everything. December 16th, 2023, 2 days after the murder. Daniel Krug was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, stalking, and criminal impersonation. 11 days before Christmas, Kristil's children lost their mother, and their father was the one who took her. The trial began in April 2025. Daniel Krug pleaded not guilty. His defense team argued sloppy police work. They said investigators failed to protect Kristil while she was alive and bungled the investigation after she died. They pointed out that police never tested Kristil's phone for fingerprints. Daniel Krug was losing control, and his marriage was falling apart. Kristil wanted out, but Daniel was in denial. He decided he was going to play puppet master. The prosecution presented overwhelming digital evidence. The burner phones purchased with Daniel's gift card, the IP addresses from his workplace, the photo he took of himself to make it look like he was being watched. Then came the most damaging testimony of all. A former girlfriend of Daniel's took the stand. She testified that decades earlier, before he ever met Kristil, Daniel had stalked her using the exact same tactics. Fake online personas, harassing messages, a pattern that eerily matched everything he did to his wife. He'd done this before. The prosecution's closing argument was simple. He didn't love her, He hated her. Think about what he did to her. For months, he terrorized his own family. He made his wife believe she was being hunted. He watched her cry. He held her while she shook. And then he killed her. The jury deliberated for 1 day. Guilty on all counts. First-degree murder. 2 counts of stalking. Criminal impersonation. Daniel Krug was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 9.5 years. This was a brutal, calculated murder, preceded by months of manipulation, emotional abuse, and deception. Daniel Krug terrorized his wife, his children, and an innocent man, all in order to control and then murder a woman who no longer wanted to be with him. Kristil Krug did everything right. She documented every message. She created a detailed log. She went to the police. She hired a private investigator. She armed herself. She installed security cameras. Kristil did everything right. The system operated as it's currently designed. And she still got killed. She trusted her husband to protect her. He was the one hunting her all along. Daniel Krug convinced his wife that her past was coming back to haunt her. He made her afraid of a ghost, and then he became the monster she never saw coming. Kristil Krug was 44 years old. She was a chemical engineer, a mother of 3, a woman who solved problems for a living. But you can't solve a problem you don't know exists, and you can't protect yourself from the person you trust most. The messages were coming from inside the house. They always were.